Hey everybody, welcome to the last video of the school year. We made it. Summer is coming. A lot of you are in the midst of, wrapping up your school year. But this is the last community group. If you're watching this at community group, and man, we're so stoked to get ready for what's happening this summer. Make sure you hit up all the Summer Palooza events, as well as the backpacking trip if you can make it to that. But what I want to talk about is the idea of discipleship. Now, discipleship is a pretty fancy religious word, but think of it this way. A disciple is like an apprentice. An apprentice learns from a master teacher. A disciple is a student. A disciple is, a follower. You hear that all the time around here. We talk about how we're Christ followers. If we're Christians, we're Christ followers. And that comes from this simple invitation that we see from Jesus throughout the Gospels. These stories of Jesus' life written by Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. They tell stories about Jesus encountering people and inviting them to follow him. He says it to everyday fishermen. He says it to tax collectors. He says it to rich people, poor people. His invitation is simple. He says to them, follow me. And some of them do, and some of them don't. And what I want to talk about today is identifying where we're at in that journey, right? If Jesus says, follow me, he's inviting us on an adventure, a journey into becoming the kinds of humans we're always meant to be. And if we're going on an adventure, I think there's two tools that help us go on this adventure and do it well. One is a map and the other is a compass. And I want to start with the map. Yes, I made an actual map of discipleship, which is absolutely crazy. Maybe you can make your own during small group time. But this map can help us identify where we're at in this journey. And I want to start by pointing out the sea of awakening, as I call it. There's a moment in our stories, in this place of being invited into the journey with Jesus, right? His invitation to follow him, where, a lot of us just aren't in a place where we believe that. We're not sure that God is real. We're not sure that the Bible is trustworthy. We're not sure. And so we haven't had that awakening to the reality that God is who he says he is, that this story is worth stepping into, right? And so the journey of discipleship starts with an awakening that God is real, that Jesus is who he says he was, that he rose from the dead. And then we step in to this journey on the map. And when we start that journey, we're in beginner land. And a lot of us are in this phase. If you're young and new to this journey, I've been following Jesus for 15 or 16 years, depending on how you track it. And I'm only 33. This isn't even half my life that I've been totally all in on this journey, even though I went to church my entire life. And what happens in this stage of the journey, this part of the map, is that we're starting to deal with the sins in our life. And you might be thinking, Jimmy, I thought, trusting in Jesus, believing in his life, death, and resurrection made all the sin go away. And that's true. I believe that with all of my heart, that putting my trust in Jesus has forgiven all of my past, present, and future sins. And what I know for sure is that I am still a sinful person. I'm a broken person living in a broken world who makes broken decisions. Is anyone with me on this? And so what I mean isn't the forgiveness that makes us right with God when it comes to our sin. What I'm talking about is the ways we continue to sin in our life, right? Because this journey is becoming the perfect embodiment of the character of Jesus in this world. And that's a lifetime journey. There are no quick, easy ways to get across this map and to be the perfect representation of Jesus in the world. But we need to start somewhere. And usually we start by dealing with some of the bigger and conscious sins in our life. Like maybe it's our porn use, maybe it's materialism, maybe it is greed and selfishness, these things that are unlike the character of Jesus. We work on getting rid of those things in our lives. And sometimes we get lost in the trees, or we start circling the lake, or we are stuck on a farmland just like working away, chipping away. But we know that the whole journey is worth it. There's harder things that we'll experience, perhaps later in our life. It feels like crossing a mountain range. And these are those things that feel like good things, right? But we make ultimate things. These are like, the love for another person, or taking care of our bodies. And man, it's asking the question, if I lost this thing, would I be okay? Right? Would Jesus be enough if, my body was in a place where I couldn't play the sport that I love or the instrument that I love? If I lost somebody that I deeply, deeply cared for, maybe a family member, would Jesus be enough? These are hard questions, right? Those things are heartbreaking realities. And yet, when we feel like Jesus is enough, when we're becoming that kind of person, we can face those tragedies with confidence and resilience. This journey is hard, and we often feel lost. Maybe we feel like we're isolated on an island. Man, all I'm trying to say is that the invitation to follow Jesus is a lifetime journey of becoming the kind of person that he is inviting us to become, the kind of person we were always meant to be. And I think that this journey of discipleship, walking this map, man, it is the kind of journey that answers the big questions about who we are. One is who am I? Man, when we are committed to following Jesus, the response to that question is, you are enough. I am enough because of Jesus. In a world that says I am not enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not pretty enough, I am not whatever enough, Jesus says, you are enough. Am I enough for you? Man, we find our identity in this map, in this journey. And when it comes to the question of belonging, like where do I fit in, this question that so many of us are asking, man, where do you belong? You belong in community with the people of God who are on this journey with you. Wherever we're at on this journey, man, you belong in this place called the church, this community, HSM. Man, we want to be that place where you belong no matter where you're at, whether you're still swimming in the sea of awakening or you're in beginner land, or man, you're starting to cross some mountains. Man, we are with you. You belong here. And then when it comes to the question of like purpose, what difference can I make in this world? Man, going on this journey of becoming like Jesus is a journey of stepping into the story of what God is doing in the world, of bringing heaven and earth together to create this beautiful overlap where people can experience the goodness and beauty and grace and love of Jesus because of the way you're becoming like him. Who am I? I'm enough. Where do I fit in? I belong in the people of God. What difference can I make? What's my purpose? Man, to bring heaven and to bring love to others. And as we navigate this journey, we also need a compass. And this compass is made up of three things. One is the story of Scripture that points to Jesus. The second is prayer, to be connected to God intimately. And then the third is community, to walk this journey alongside others who want to walk this journey too. And so I hope, you guys, that you can identify where you're at on this journey and then to take the next step. As I said, there is no quick fix. There is no way to get from point A to point B on this map and become like Jesus instantly. But as we take one step at a time for a lifetime, man, this world can become a more beautiful place because of the way you are following Jesus, because of the way you are walking this journey alongside the story of Scripture, alongside prayer with God, and alongside other Christ followers who have said yes to Jesus' invitation to follow him. So that's the invitation. Do you want to follow Jesus, to be a disciple, to follow him with everything that you have?